Yeah, Keith, this has been a long time coming here in this case because Wilson initially pled guilty last year, but then wrote a letter to the judge saying he didn't feel comfortable with his attorney and felt that his attorney wasn't going to fight for him, so he withdrew that plea. So now here we are, nearly 3 years after the shooting in October of 2020, finally in the courtroom. And as you mentioned, this is pretty high profile because one of the victims was a 16-year-old at St. Augustine High School, and she knew the shooter, a 19-year-old at the time, Anthony Wilson, who also had gone to St. Augustine High School. And we heard from both the opening statements from both attorneys as well, and they both shared something in common in that they feel like this was a drug deal that went wrong, a marijuana deal in particular, and that they had actually known each other. They'd reached out, Brownsville had reached out to Wilson to coordinate something, and within 6 minutes of her final message to him, that's when we had the first 911 call. And the prosecuting attorney, he argued that Wilson went up to the window of the car, shot both Stein and Brownsville inside the car, then reached into the car, took some things out of the car and ran, and was found later in a pond in the neighborhood nearby. But the defense attorney's arguing that he had to do it because it was self-defense.
He was chasing them. He had the opportunity to think about what he was about to do. And after Kyle crashed his truck, he did it.
I believe the evidence is going to show, ladies and gentlemen, that Anthony Wilson fired his weapon only because the truck was coming directly at him and he was acting in self-defense.
We just saw the families of the victims walk out here. They're taking a lunch break until 1:15. Now, this actually happened at a apartment complex, a condo complex, where there were a lot of units there, a lot of people watching. So we have a lot of witnesses to get through, and that's what we've been going through all morning here. So after lunch, we will continue, try and work our way through the case here, and hopefully I'll have some updates for you at 5 and 6 o'clock. I will say that the judge did not make any mention of any possible death penalty at this point, but first-degree murder charges can only be either a death sentence or life in prison in the state of Florida, if he is found guilty, of course. In St. Augustine, Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.